So here's the short version you should latch onto. There's a bunch of low-profile, but very important progress happening with this Chiefs roster that actually makes you feel better about Week 1. Let's start with special teams, because that's where a lot of these under-the-radar wins are popping. Dave Tubb called out Jalen Rarles first. The guy nearly took a kickoff to the house, and honestly, that return told you everything about his upside. He's dealing with knee tendonitis and looks likely to sit this week, but when he's right, he's the kind of spark who flips field position and momentum on a single touch. Then there's Ashton Jelotti. Big, fast, physical. Tubb called him an animal, and the way he's impacting special teams makes it hard to keep him off the field on defense. That's precisely the sort of two-phase value you want in late August because it buys you roster flexibility and punch on game day. Jeffrey Bose is in that conversation too, all the athletic gifts you want. Helpful in coverage, still cleaning up the finer points of technique, but you can see the arrow pointing up. The big picture here is simple. The Chiefs are stacking hidden yards and toughness in the third phase, and that stuff sneaks up on opponents in September. Now, the return competition is where this gets spicy. Punt return is brutally unforgiving. You're tracking the nose of the ball under lights, trusting footsteps you can't see, and you have to make fast, clean decisions. Kickoff feels like the baseline, steady hands, smart landmarks, enough burst to steal yards without flirting with disaster. If nobody blows the doors off, the staff can ride the known commodity and let the offense cook on short fields. Sky Moore is the high-variance swing. You saw him house an 88-yarder. That's a sideline erupting, momentum-warping play, but you also saw the mental dips earlier. A muff, a drop, then another drop. Tubb still signaled trust. He said he'd be comfortable with Sky back there, and two, when that job, Sky just needs a streak of boring reps. Square up early, hands not body, firm decision, ball secured, live for second down. Brashard Smith sits in the traits plus coaching runway bucket. His misread hugging the sideline is exactly the kind of punt rep you fix with rules. Set your heels, give yourself room, decide early on fair catches, and respect the ball's drift. The upside is he hits kick returns with no fear, and that confidence can bleed into punt work once the eyes and timing settle. Tyquan Thornton deserves a look, too. He stacked plays on offense in both preseason games. The staff is testing him as a gunner and secondary return option, and his speed can be a lever even if he isn't PR1. The context that really sharpens the decision is Rashee Rice's likely suspension. If the receiver room squeezes down a spot early, your returner probably has to help on units and give you situational snaps on offense. That's Nico's reliability, Sky's splash, Brashard's kick return juice, or Tyquan's multi-role speed. If you're Andy and Dave, you're picking a profile, safe hands and steady hidden yards, or spike plays with some risk. Quick one for you while we're here. Would you keep the dedicated return specialists on the 53? A simple yes or nitrogen monoxide in the comments does the trick, and then name your PR1 in one word: Nika, SKY, Brashard, or Tyquan. And if you like this kind of granular breakdown, help us hit 5,000 subscribers by tapping subscribe and turning on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Let's flip to defense because Seattle was a gut check. The Seahawks came out with intent, ran at the front, and for stretches the Chiefs didn't match the physicality. That's where depth gets real. Chris Jones can't play every snap, and when Bolton, Tranquil, or McDuffie aren't out there, the next man up has to plug the leak with minimal drop-off. Against Seattle, that drop-off showed. Nick Bolton is the glue in the middle. Run defense starts with the interior tackles and the linebackers fitting off them. Jack Cochran is one of those steadying voices the coaches trust to get everyone lined up right, but he took a knee bruise, fought through it, and that affected flow to the ball. Spags was blunt about it. Shame on them for not being ready. And you can feel the emphasis this week on matching force with force from the opening series. That's the standard in this building, and it has to show up even when the starters rotate out. The edge room took some hits, too. Janarius Robinson landed on IR, and Felix Anudikazoma is out for the season, which reshuffles the rotation and forces opportunity on to the next wave. Malik has a real window to climb here. If you're a young defensive end in Spag's system, this is the moment you earn trust. Set a firm edge on early downs, squeeze the pocket on obvious pass, and maybe most importantly, play your gap with discipline for 15 steady snaps. That's how you make the 53 in August, and how you keep the defense on schedule in November. The same theme runs through the secondary. Christian Fulton was one of the bigger free agent swings of the offseason, but he missed a lot of time after a knee cleanup, and the staff is ramping him carefully. Jalen Watson dealt with a concussion. Nazi Johnson's shoulder has been nagging. When the back end is in and out, you lose the continuity that turns near misses into PBS. Joshua Williams brings length and speed, but his tape is still up. And down, the coaches want nothing fancy. Clean leverage, no cheap flags, no busts, the boring, repeatable stuff you need when the games count. And this is where special teams and depth connect back to defense. If your coverage units are winning field position and your return game is clean, Spags can dial up pressure packages on long fields instead of defending short ones. That's why these late preseason reps matter so much. The goal for this week is pretty direct. Show up with purpose on the first series, fit the run with violence and structure, and let the pass rush hunt on scheduled downs. I want your one-word reaction to that Seattle game, by the way. Worried, confident, or chill? Drop it below and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our final tune-up notes before week 1. On offense, there's actually a lot to like. The left side of the line, which understandably had everyone's attention in camp, is trending the right way. Josh Simmons looks more comfortable each week. The footwork is tittier and you can feel the confidence building. Kingsley Suamataia is still riding the rookie roller coaster. A quick loss in pass pro here and there, but he's been solid in the run game and he's developing on the curve the staff expected. The key is chemistry between Simmons and Kingsley, and that only comes with live reps. Matt Nagy's been vocal about how the timing is coming along, and you can tell the belief is real in the building. That matters because the Bears are planning to roll their starters for a bit. Mams will take a couple of drives, and the one thing nobody in Chiefs Kingdom wants is an August highlight that involves the quarterback on the ground. Clean pockets now are worth more than any preseason fireworks. At receiver, the updates are mixed but leaning positive. Hollywood Brown being back at practice is a major plus. Andy Reid said they're ramping him up and monitoring how he responds, and seeing him back out there again is the kind of quiet good news that changes game plans. I'm not banking on him playing this last preseason game, but the goal is week 1 against the Chargers, and if he's ready, that is a real boost. Hollywood's ability to stretch the field and win on timing routes gives Mams another trustworthy option, even more important if Rashee Rice is sidelined early. Jalen Ramiral's knee tendonitis adds urgency at the position, so Hollywood's availability goes from luxury to closer to necessity. Meanwhile, Tyquan Thornton has been a pleasant surprise. He's made plays in both preseason games. The coaches clearly trust him more than just as a track speed guy, and they're trying him in different special teams roles to maximize the roster spot. That's exactly the kind of depth you want when there's uncertainty at the top of the room. Zoom out, and the offensive story really has two pillars. Keep Mams upright, and make sure the receivers are ready to absorb a suspension and some nagging injuries. If Simmons and Suamataia gel quickly and Hollywood is in uniform week 1, the offense can hit the ground running against the Chargers. Here's a quick one for you. If you had to pick one as the bigger key for week 1, the offensive line holding strong or the receivers being fully healthy, which way do you lean? Drop OL or WR in the comments. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to help push us to 5,000 so you don't miss the final depth chart tweaks. Now, let's land this where we started, special teams. Because that's where some of the most encouraging, tangible improvement is happening. Matt Araiza looks better right now than he did at the end of last season. Tubb called out his growth and the confidence, and having a little competition in OTAs helped sharpen him. The focus this offseason was hang time and pooch punts, exactly the stuff the staff wanted him to improve. He himself said he's a better punter today than he was last year, and that tracks with what you've seen: more controlled placement, fewer touchbacks on those inside the 20 opportunities. That's not just aesthetic. Pinning opponents changes how Spags calls the first set of downs and how aggressive he can be about simulated pressures and safety rotations. With Justin Reid now in New Orleans, Araiza is also the backup kicker, which adds complexity for the operation because he's a left footer. That flips the picture for the holder, and the staff has been mindful about reps so the timing is clean if they need it. The coverage units have tightened too. You're seeing faster releases downfield, better lane integrity, and a clear emphasis on cleanup details that weren't always sharp last preseason. When those three pieces, placement, hang time, and coverage, snap together, it's a quiet advantage you feel in fourth quarter field position. The other side of special teams is personnel, and this loops us back to the bottom of the receiver room and the defensive edges. If someone like Jaloti forces his way onto game day snaps because he's a hammer on teams and gives you juice in the defensive rotation, that's a double win. If Thornton gives you WR for snaps plus gunner value and emergency return work, that's roster glue. If Nika holds PR1 with clean hands while Brashard handles more kickoff work as his eyes settle, you've distributed the load without overexposing any single player. That's the kind of balanced approach that keeps you stable through September while the offense finds its early rhythm and the defense locks in its run fits. And because it matters for Friday, let's hit the immediate checklist. First, run defense. Spags said it flat out, not good enough. So the expectation is a tone-setting first series against the Bears, starters or not. Second, left side protection, no cheap pressures, no free runners, especially on the handful of Mams drives. Third, returner decisions. You don't need an 88-yarder to make the team. You need clean catches, smart decisions, and no hidden mistakes. Fourth, health timelines. Hollywood and Christian Fulton are trending the right way. They've been practicing, getting ramped up, and if they hit the week 1 mark, that's 2 significant boosts, one on each side of the ball, that make this roster better than it looked a week ago. Those are the quiet good news items that stack into real September wins. So where does that leave you heading into week 1? Pretty encouraged. The defense got punched, owned it, and is refocusing on run fits with purpose. The offensive line on the left is growing fast enough to protect what matters most, and the receiver room has a legitimate shot at being ready even if Rice is out and Ryles is limited. Special teams, from the return battle to Araiza's improvements to coverage discipline, is bending the field back toward Kansas City. That's the foundation you want with Mams under center and the division game up first. Before you go, give me your confidence level from 1 to 10 in the comments. I'm calling it an 8 with room to climb if Friday's run fits and protection look clean. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, help us reach 5,000 subscribers by hitting subscribe and turning on notifications. It really does keep these deep dive videos coming. Drop a like if you're feeling the quiet momentum building, and let me know which good news item matters most to you. The return game, Araiza's punting, emerging depth, or the left side chemistry. Your one-word vote in the comments helps us see where Chiefs Kingdom's head is at going into week 1 against the Chargers.